Hey, it's Tommy the Butcher for Wise Guys BBQ, back with another video. I'm gonna take you back to 18th century New England to do an authentic open fire New England style clam chowder. You're gonna love it, and I'm about to show you how you can do this at home. But before we get started, please like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you will not miss an episode. Stick around, we're cooking together. All right, we're ready to get going here. So we're gonna be making an open fire New England style clam chowder today. And what that is, we're gonna be using a coal bed. We're gonna set up a coal bed, and we're gonna be using a Dutch oven, a cast iron Dutch oven, that we're literally gonna just place right down on the bed of coals. So it'll give us an open fire cooking technique. And this is something that was done way back in the 18th century. That's where New England clam chowder was first made, in the 18th century, here in New England. So it's a native indigenous dish. We're also gonna be using corn. It's an optional item to be put in your clam chowder, but seeing as the indigenous settlers back then, corn was so abundant, potatoes were so abundant, clams were abundant. So these are all ingredients that are gonna really work together well, and let's get started. So the first thing we need to do, we're gonna have to open up our clams. We've got to cook our clams a little bit. We want them to open up so that we can extract the clams, and we're able to chop them up to be put into our chowder. And one simple, easy way of doing that, use your grill. I'm gonna be putting all our clams on the grill. Now we're using top necks for today. Top necks, as far as I'm concerned, are probably the best bet for making a chowder at home. So I have about, I think, 6 pounds of them here, actually 27 altogether. And I'm gonna place them on the grill. I'm not even gonna light the grill first. Now, when you're placing these, make sure that they're as flat as can be, because what's gonna happen, they're gonna cook in that heat in the grill. They're gonna be cooking in their own juices, natural juices. So that shell will pop open once that's done. It'll only take about 4, 5, maybe 6 minutes. And we wanna reserve as much of that juice as possible so that we can get that into our clam chowder. All right, I got all our clams loaded. I'm gonna go with medium heat. I'm gonna shut this lid, and we're gonna let it go for about 5 minutes, give or take a minute. And then we'll check on these. We wanna see that the shell pop open, and they'll be ready to remove. So we're waiting for these to open up. I got a few minutes. So when you go to your fish market, when you go to your fishmonger and you're looking to buy live shellfish, don't be afraid to ask for the actual tag. When these shellfish are harvested and they're packaged and they're shipped to the various retail locations, they always come with what's called a tag. And the tag will indicate all the information, where it was harvested, the date it was harvested, so you'll know exactly how fresh your clams are. All right, we're about 3 minutes in on here, and I can literally hear them popping open, and I can hear some of those, the juices kind of simmering a little bit. So I'm gonna take a look, see how they're coming along. There we go. Now, a lot of these have opened up. All right, so we're gonna remove these right now. We don't wanna let them cook too long, and very carefully place them. I'm gonna use just a foil pan here. Very carefully, just place them in. Now, when you're doing this, if some clams do not open, and that can happen, it's quite common, I can have this on here for hours and it will not open. It's no good, get rid of it, toss it. You don't want a clam that will not open. And another thing, before we put them on the grill, I scrub these. Make sure you watch them, scrub them quite well, because they will have quite a bit of sand. And don't just do it once, do it a couple times, do it 3 times even, just to ensure that you're getting all the sand out of these. All right, we got most of our clams off, but there are a few that are resisting a little bit, but seeing as I have all that room on the grill, we're gonna go on with our corn. We're just gonna get this all grilled off while we're waiting for the rest of our clams to pop open. All right, it's been about 7 minutes now, and all the clams are open. All the remaining clams all opened up. Just gonna pull those out. All right, I'm gonna keep an eye on our corn now until that comes up to a nice grill. Want to see a lot of grill marks on there. Want to see a little bit of char. And when those kernels begin to shrink up a little bit, that'll be the time to get them off. So gonna give that another couple, 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll check back in a minute. All right, our corn is ready. I'm gonna remove them. I'm gonna put them alongside our clams that are done. I'm gonna let them cool off a little bit before we start the next step. So stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. It's time to start building our mise en place. We're gonna put all that together for you before we head to the next step of the cook. We're gonna build our live fire. So let's get moving. First thing we wanna do, I wanna get our corn. I wanna get all these kernels removed from the husk. So I've got a bowl set out here. I'm basically just gonna stand it up. I'm gonna take a knife and just cut right down. Very simple. So that's it. Once we get everything removed from the cob, we have it in our bowl. Just go in here and kind of toss it a little bit. Get all these kernels all loosened up and all individual so they're not all connected and clumped together. There's our corn. We're gonna put that aside. And next we're gonna remove our clams from the shells. So it's a pretty simple process. One by one, you just wanna open these up. We're gonna remove the clam. And I'm using one of these aluminum pans. It makes it much easier, especially when you're cooking outside, you're working outside. Anything that you can do to make your cook go much easier, this will help with cleanup. All you have to do is throw these things out. So I'm gonna get all these clams removed. All right, we have our clams out of the shell. And I wanna show you the juice that we actually reserved from those clams that were cooking on the grill. Just gonna pour this out into a measuring cup. And man, there's a lot of flavor in here. We got almost a cup. Certainly not gonna be enough liquid, so we're gonna add some store-bought clam juice to it. So I'm looking for about maybe 2 cups of clam juice altogether. So I'm gonna add 2 bottles to it. These happen to be 8-ounce bottles. And it might be a little bit more than what we need. Better off having a little bit more than not enough. So I'm gonna put that aside. Next, we need to chop these clams up. I'm gonna pour some of that liquid right out. Get our clams onto the cutting board, onto the chopping block, because we're gonna chop some clams. Just come in here and get them all chopped up. Now, you can certainly buy clams all minced. They sell them chopped. You certainly don't have to go through all the trouble of steaming them, grilling them, getting them open, but I'm telling you, the flavor is so much better, more authentic. You're gonna get that briny, actually sea flavor by doing them this way. Our clams are all chopped. I'm gonna get them back into the aluminum tray that we had them in with all those juices. I'm gonna put those off to the side until we're ready for them a little bit later. All right, so we're getting our mise en place already. We have our clams, they're all chopped up. We have our clam juice and our corn that we grilled. Next, we're gonna be working on the bacon. So we're gonna chop up, I got 3 slices of extra thick bacon. This is gonna be the first layer in our clam chowder. It's gonna be the base of all the flavors to come right after this gets rendered out. So let's get all this chopped up. Got a little container here for it. Next, we're gonna be using a couple cloves of garlic. So we'll get these chopped. All right, there's 2 cloves of garlic. All right, the next ingredient, we're gonna want about a cup of diced celery. I'm gonna use 4 stalks here. I'm not sure exactly what that's gonna give me for yield, but we're gonna get it cut up and we'll go with whatever it gives us. All right, and we want 1 medium onion. And lastly, I'm gonna go with, these are very large, 2 large Yukon Gold potatoes. I'm not even gonna bother peeling these because these peels are so thin, really not gonna create an issue. So I'm just gonna go in there and dice these potatoes up. All right, there we go. Our mise en place is all set. We're ready to go. It's gonna be easy peasy from this point on. All we gotta do is play with fire. So let's get a fire lit. Stick around, we'll be right back. All right, let's get fired up. So here's the setup. We're gonna be cooking in a large 10-inch or 5-quart cast iron Dutch oven. This is their Camp Dutch oven. It's specifically designed for campfires, if you're camping out, backyard fire pits, anything where you're gonna be cooking on a bed of coals. As you can see, it comes with 3 legs. So This is what we're going to be using for our cooking vessel. Now we're going to be using a Weber kettle, a trusty workhorse Weber kettle. You can use your fire pit. Fire pits are just for toasting marshmallows and making s'mores. Get out there and make some clam chowder in your backyard fire pit. If you're camping, you can just use a campfire. Anything like that will do just fine. So here's the setup. I've got a full chimney of lump charcoal, and I'm gonna be starting off with 2 fire starters. We're gonna be building a bed of coals right on the top grate. So this top grate would normally be your cooking grate. We're gonna build it right on the top. So let's get these lit. I've got 2 fire starters. Gonna get them roaring, and I'm gonna get this chimney starter placed right on top. And that's it. I'm gonna let this go for a little bit and wait for those coals to get nice and white hot, and we'll be right back. So stick around, don't go anywhere. And these coals are rip roaring. We're gonna get them emptied out onto this cooking surface. And it's a little hot, so I'm gonna use this moppine, and we're gonna just dump all the coals right out. All right, now we're gonna spread these out a little bit, try to get like an even layer. And we're gonna get a Dutch oven, and we're gonna place it right on top. So we're gonna let this heat up, and then we'll be ready to move right along. All right, we're ready to go here, and this thing is rip roaring hot. We're up to about 580 degrees before we get all our ingredients in. If you're running into an issue, if it's too hot, all you gotta do is take something and adjust some of the coals in this fire. There's no dials, there's no settings, it's live fire, it's open fire, so you need to make things happen by just manipulating, moving these coals around to give you a temperature that's easier to work with. So we're gonna get going. We're at about 500 degrees. First thing we're gonna drop in is our bacon. Check that out, it's already sizzling. So we're gonna let this bacon go. We're gonna get it all rendered down. So far it's looking good. It might be a little too hot. If so, I'm gonna manage the coals on this coal bed so that we can lower the temperature. All right, the bacon's looking good. In we go with our onions. Season, we got onion in there, gonna need a little salt, pepper. Thing is, you gotta spread your salt and pepper downwind a little bit, because you want the salt to go here, I gotta sprinkle it from way over there. A little bit of pepper. All right, this is coming along really well. I think we have our heat dialed in exactly where we need it to be. If anything, I could probably use a little bit more heat on this. Very simple fix. I'm gonna take some of these coals that are surrounding the outside of this Dutch oven. I'm just gonna place them, just move them in closer. So it's a matter of moving them in closer, moving them away. Just keep on manipulating the fire so that it does what you want it to do. All right, next we're going in with the garlic. All right, I'm gonna start to bring all our coals in towards the center because we're getting close to adding our liquid. And when that happens, I want to get a lot more heat on it than we have now. The cool liquids are gonna drop that temperature down considerably. So you wanna be proactive to that. So I'm gonna tuck all these coals in nice and tight and get this temperature up a little bit. All right, we're going in with 1 cup of celery. I'm gonna do another layer of seasoning. A little salt, a little pepper. All right, next go our potatoes. We're gonna get them in. And I don't know if I'll be using all of these. I'm basically gonna eyeball this as I go along. Another layer of seasoning. I can already tell the temperature has come up considerably in the pot because I'm getting a lot of sizzling. It's telling me what it's doing. So you get those visual clues, you get those audible clues. It's all about cooking live, folks. Cooking with live fire. Gonna go in with the corn next. All right, time for our liquid. We're gonna go in with the clam juice. I've got about 3 cups total, and that's a combination of our reserved clam juice when we cook the clams and our 2 bottles of store-bought clam juice. Now that's quieted down quite a bit, and hopefully this is gonna come up to a simmer shortly. It's steaming and I'm seeing bubbles. I'm liking what I'm seeing. This thing is working, it's cranking out this chowder. It's doing exactly what we want it to do, what we were expecting it to do. I'm gonna add a couple of sprigs of fresh thyme for flavoring, and we can fish those out after when the product is done. I'm also gonna add maybe a couple of tablespoons of butter. This is just gonna add more flavor, more richness. All right, this is looking great. The potatoes are almost there. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking it's a little thicker than what I would like. We still have to add the clams. And even though we haven't added our half and half yet, I'm looking for a little more broth to solid ratio. So luckily, I reserved 1 bottle of clam juice and I'm gonna add that to it just to get that liquid ratio where I would like it. So always be ready to shift on the fly. All right, this is coming along fantastic. We're getting ready to get our clams and our half and half in here. Just checking for seasoning. Perfecto, spot on. I'm not gonna do a thing with that until after we add our half and half, because I'm thinking we're gonna need a little seasoning once we get that in there, because more than likely it's gonna mellow out the perfect seasoning that's already in here right now. So, all right, our potatoes have become fork tender. We're getting close to the end. We're gonna add all our chopped clams in next. And we don't have to let these go quite long because the clams are basically already cooked. We grill them off to get those shells open. So you can basically stop right here and finish your chowder just as it is. That's a clear chowder. It's like a natural chowder. That's perfectly fine. It's perfectly delicious. I believe it's a Rhode Island style clam chowder. I'm not sure, but we're gonna finish it off with a little half and half, and that's gonna make it our New England clam chowder. A lot of New England clam chowders are done with a roux. Quite frankly, I think that develops too thick of a chowder. I like the aspect of having a light dairy present as well as that natural broth coming through at the same time. It's just a fresher, cleaner, in my opinion, the only way to go with clam chowder. I'm gonna remove the sprig of thyme. We don't need that anymore. And I'm gonna add 2 cups of half and half. I mean, if you want a richer finished chowder, you can use light cream, heavy cream. I don't think you need to go quite to that extent. I'm just looking to lighten this up a little bit, freshen it up a little bit, and just give that little bit of a richness in the background. All right, our half and half is in here. I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna let it go another 10 minutes, let it come up to a simmer. We're gonna check for seasoning and we'll be at the finish line, so stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, I'm gonna plate this up now and I'm only gonna use a cup. We're outdoors, nothing fancy. We're not gonna be putting it in any bowls or anything, but just ladle. Look at that, man. Oh, Madonna me. God. All right, here goes. Oh, this is what clam chowder is meant to be. It's bright, it's fresh, it's briny, it tastes like the sea. I'm getting the clams, and importantly, that corn, the sweet presence, is taking this to another dimension. This is authentic New England clam chowder as far as I'm concerned. Get outside, gather around the fire pit, and do this for your family and friends. They're gonna love you, absolutely love you. I'm Tommy the Butcher for Wise Guys BBQ. Please like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you will not miss an episode. Thank you for watching. I can't wait to see you next time.